OK，兄弟们，全体目光
Prepare
向
for
我
battle
看齐啊！
18th at the International. The bad news is they will only have one, because the winner advances to the International, progress from the road to the International, to the actual international main event. The loser goes home.
There's still Quinn, of course. Gaming Gladiators is an NA team after all.
Okay.
And I bet
Any other NA
Snaking is
teams?
still in the tournament.
Tundra is NA?
Tundra as well.
Okay.
So there's still a lot of hope.
Yeah, so if you show up at the final stage and you chant USA, you have like a 33% chance of being right. If you know,
pretty good odds.
That's
better than normal, at least.
yeah. There's a lot on the line here. Obviously, aside from the top 8 placement, you want to be the top NA team of the tournament, right? Like this is obviously
The battle begins.
yeah, the bragging rights. Yeah, the title of best NA team this tournament.
Oh, 1v2 is going to be accompanied by Timado, but Yamsun is here. That's a 3 versus 1. Whitemon likely will get first blood as the blood grenade is there as well. A couple more right clicks will suffice, and Yamsun, for Nouns, will get first blood. Now, we should mention in terms of history, I mean, Nouns came from the upper bracket, which nobody was expecting them to get to begin with. And in terms of like them versus TSM or them versus Shopify, they have been playing third fiddle for the last couple years, and now they have a chance to prove, like you said, who's the best in NA.
And I think it's kind of telling in a way, because if you look at the, if you look at the NA region in general over the last year, I would say this is the most improved team. So I think it's only fitting that they finally get a chance to show that and pull it off here at the road to the International. So yeah, exciting stuff ahead in this game. We do see 3 bounty runes as well. First blood going the way of Nouns. So Estina was talking about confidence. This is a great confidence booster to go into the laning stage with that little bit of an advantage. First blood going to Yamsun was maybe not exactly at the top of their list. I would say Nature's Prophet in this game isn't necessarily the one you want the gold on, but it's always going to be just a flat-out net positive. And curious to see what he's going to convert it into. So he's currently eyeing up boots, which I would say is a little less common for Nature's Prophet. I see like most of the time we see them rush one utility item before boots, but maybe he's valuing just the overall move speed. Obviously, Nature's Prophet has the global teleportation, which is why a lot of the time you don't really need the boot. You can just teleport next to the fight, use your sprout, use your utility item, whether it's an Atos or Solar Crest, go to work.
I should also mention from Yamsun's perspective, as we're going to see the calling place, K1 can take a decent amount of damage with the blood grenade there as well. Not going to lead to a kill, but let's force them out of lane temporarily. The fact that Yamsun has changed from position 1 to 5 in just a couple months, that's one of the fastest turnarounds we've seen. I mean, typically when that happens, it usually does not have good results. You got to give him a lot of credit. As Ari continuing the pressure onto Yamsun, eats right through that sprout, but now will back away as his high five will not be reciprocated. Very unfortunate. I was surprised to see Gunnar getting his patented Earth Spirit as a last pick. This hero has been, I mean, I know it's gotten a couple slight nerfs, but it still feels very powerful. And for a last pick, were you surprised at all with that?
A bit. I mean, what was it that TSM ended up last banning? Actually, the panel were talking about the potential Shaker. Shaker was the ban, and it was Shaker, Ogre, or Earth Spirit that were the options. I mean, I guess if you're planning on picking Pango, you kind of pick your poison in that regard, right? The Earth Shaker is probably the worst matchup of 3 in that mid lane. So maybe that was something they were focusing on, but I agree. I think Earth Spirit is, in terms of just overall impact and what they have on their own team, I think Earth Spirit has a really good matchup in the game in general here, not just the lane. So there aren't too many heroes in the enemy team that have significant burst. The thing Earth Spirit relies on a lot is having mobility in the fight. So you roll in, you cast your spells, you want to re-engage either by disengaging first with a rolling boulder, getting your cooldown ready for the smash again, or you just want to stay in there and keep casting and spamming your spells. And in this game, if you have Blade Mail Heart, it doesn't look like you're gonna, just get blown apart. There's no real stun locking you down. I guess overgrowth is the main issue, probably. So could be a good game for Gunnar.
Yep. Another blood grenade from Ari.
Also in mid, putting some serious pressure on Bryle here, forcing a TP out of Whitemon.
Whitemon does TP. And will force the likes of Nouns
Dyer's
back just a
turret
little
has
bit.
been
Now, in
killed.
terms of, I mean, Nouns played yesterday, obviously, and they did not do super hot, as the coach was talking about.
Fair to say.
While TSM played today, and they crushed Shopify. It was a 2-0 that was, especially game 2, not even remotely close. Do you think that that benefits TSM in any way? I mean, I know it's impossible to kind of decipher this based on what like is inside their minds, but theoretically, since you love theory and whatnot, since you talk
I love my
hours on end about
I
absolutely nothing,
good
usually
theory,
just calling
yeah.
it theory craft, or just sitting here listening to you. But do you think that benefits either team as Bryle just barely lives?
Well, to give you a short answer, I do think the team that just won is happy with winning. Yes.
Hey, thank
And
you.
that is good for them.
No, I'm surprised you kept it so brief.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
go.
that for everybody in the audience.
It's just a theory, though.
Yeah,
They might be
of course.
unhappy with their victory.
I figured you keep
never
going.
really-
Yeah, no big surprise.
I do.
Bryle in the mid lane. We can see the CS is relatively close between the likes of him and Gunnar. I mean, would you say
10 denies, though.
that's true? Would you say that this favors one hero or the other? Generally?
I mean, my gut says that this is a slightly Earth Spirit favored lane, but not like by a mile. So I actually think this result is maybe a little bit better than what you can expect, especially on the deny front from Gunnar.
K1 continuing to get harassed.
Yeah, so this was interesting in the draft, right? This was an instant counter pick to the Bristleback in the first phase. They grabbed their Naga, so they were anticipating this was going to get banned. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit because K1 has like a subset of heroes that I always love watching this guy at TI. He has a subset of heroes that he just really made a name for himself on. Naga is one of them. We've seen his PL in the past, Chaos Knight. He popped off the other day on that one against Tundra. When you pick Naga this early, I feel like the hero is very exploitable. And in this game, he's got 11 CS minutes 6.
Yep, not
the
too bad.
Bristleback's 34, and this was your counter pick to the Bristle? I mean, you've gotta make it worth it at some point.
Up
This-
top lane,
Oh, good
Ancient
look.
Steel's there, move with the Thunderclap. Yamsun makes his way over as well. It's an easy pickoff, and now Timado
Radiant's
is the one that they're trying to
courier
take down. He takes out the courier in due time. Sprout does not keep him in for too long as Ari showing up now. Force the rest of Nouns back.
Taking some pot shots here, but probably gonna get out of there.
That's the shot with the slow. One more Sprout
Radiant's
for good
courier
measure as
has been
Yamsun
killed.
limps away.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Looks like Bryle's gonna be able to get a nice
Dyer's
juicy
middle
regen,
tower
but he's gonna take
is
a
under
magnetize
attack.
for his efforts. The level advantage we see is going to Gunnar thanks to those denies. TP from Whitemon is here. It's a 1 versus 2. Turning around onto Gunnar. Looks like it's their kill for the taking. And Bryle will get credit for it. Nice turnaround there from TSM.
I gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised there by this attempt even from Gunnar. Like, yeah, maybe this is... You could probably accomplish this kill if you have like 15 seconds of 1v1 there because Bryle isn't level 6 yet and you are, but any TP stops that kill and you're at risk of dying. You had no mana left, your stick was empty, your bottle was empty. Just, honestly, a little bit of an overextension there. And that's really good news for Bryle. We were talking about he's a little bit
Radiant's
behind in
top
experience.
tower
Now
is
he's going to be
under
leading the
attack.
charge here against Gunnar. Get closer to that Diffusal the panel was talking about. I mean, this is... If Diffusal Blade was magically removed tomorrow, I think this hero would barely be played by anyone. Like, that is just the build right now.
True.
And in a game like this, you always look at, okay, how important is the mana burn? It's amazing against specific heroes in this game.
Oh, nice dead shot. Another silence. As
Oh, he got
Yamsun
6.
calling move, hit 6. There is the primal split. Can they find anyone? Looks like Whitemon might take the stun here, as Lelis is there as well to try to finish him off. Looks like that'll be an easy cleanup, but can they get Ari as well as Yamsun trying to keep him in place? As Moo gets the thunderclap onto absolutely nothing, but Ari still falls in the end. Too much damage over time, but Bryle coming in with his rolling thunder, trying to connect on the Moo, but a nice sidestep is there. Might have to focus onto position 5 Nature's Prophet instead, but Lelis is there waiting, gets up the instant Ancient Seal, and now Moo in the vicinity. The thunderclap ready to go very shortly. Whitemon and Timado there are here in numbers as TSM look like they kind of want to fight, but so do Nouns as Whitemon taking the brunt of the damage from that magnetize from Gunnar.
Radiant's bottom tower
This
is
should
under
be the end of
attack.
it. Diving here for Gunnar is really difficult, going in blind.
Bottle refill for Bryle now.
A lot of heroes showing up to this move, obviously. The big winners, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, are the ones that didn't. So both Kasane as well as K1 are finding some much-needed farm down bottom, especially the Naga. Starting to get a little bit of recovery going here. Kasane is gonna... It's just already settled. This Bristol is gonna have an amazing game. Moo.
Moo trying to dodge the calling, can't do it. Because it does slow as well
Radiant
inside
are
there, so
scanning.
very difficult. But he will still live.
nice timing on that whole fight for him, right? It looked premeditated that they were expecting him to hit level 6 at that exact point in time, so they were kind of baiting a fight out. And he ends up tanking like 800 damage worth of spells and then using his ult. So obviously that means all of those spells not being used on another hero in the fight, and that did allow Nouns to get themselves a pretty good exchange. But as a matter of fact, despite being up 4-1 on the kills, they're still 1k down on the net worth, and that is really the majority of this discrepancy is found in that bottom lane. Kasane with 4,300 net worth to the only 3k of the Naga on K1. The panel we're talking about, they've counterpicked this Naga quite well, right? You've got the Pango, you've got the Bristleback with the Aghanims. Naga on top of all of that is also not being harmed. The way Nouns win a lot of their games is because K1 pops off, right?
Yep.
And I don't know how likely that is with the current lookout here, so got to see if they can somehow bring him into the game a bit later on. Obviously, Naga just likes chilling for the first 20 minutes, whether she's having a good or a bad game. You kind of play the hero the same way.
That's better than it used to be. It used to be 40 minutes.
True.
And sometimes it was never. You never got involved, and you just won the game just by existing. That from time to time, but things have certainly changed. As like you said, TSM with a slight lead in terms of the net worth right now. The Bristle being the main recipient of that. We'll be going for the Aghanim Scepter, of course. Already an Ogre Club on the way.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
One of my favorite Ags in the game, actually, Cinder. I know you're not a huge fan, but I actually love this one.
We have different tastes.
Yeah, that is true. So,
that's what Dota's all about.
He's initially slow, but he's going to use his Primal Split. And Whitemon might be the main one to go down here, but they get the lift on the Timado. Gunnar's there as well, not able to connect on the rolling boulder, though. As Bryle coming in as well. Looks like Yamsun might be dead, but a nice lift at the last moment onto the Pangolier. They will take out the Luna. So it's a 2-for-1. All they've lost is the support in the Nature's Prophet. Gunnar continuing on to Magnify, just continuing over and over. Double kill for Gunnar. Now Kasane has shown up to play, level 9, trying to block out Gunnar, but gets the baby roll off. Continuing with these Quill Sprays. Gets off to the other side, into the high ground. The Quill Sprays are in range, though, as Kasane secures a double kill. So a lot of deaths on both respective sides.
Man, I feel like this doesn't happen very often anymore, but
tower is under attack.
Red Spirit ran out of stones relatively quickly in that fight. If he has one more stone there, Gunnar is going to survive, but couldn't get the distance anymore without that. Yeah, by losing Timado relatively early on there, TSM still end up getting themselves a decent fight with Kasane showing up and really putting that net worth to good use. So he's going to grab his level 10, 11 minutes in. It's a great look for him.
So we are casting Nouns, which means we need to start counting Midases.
Oh, I thought we were going to start counting Nouns.
Or that. I mean, Midas is a noun.
Okay.
Right? The Moo.
It's a proper noun.
Just purchased his. How many is appropriate this game, Cinder?
Oh, that's a very loaded question.
There's a Gloves of Haste on Gunnar, so that looks like it's going to be 2.
Are you sure he's not going Armlet?
Yes, because it shows Midas in his quick buy there.
Change his mind. Armlet or Red Spirit? What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
what's the appropriate amount? Probably no more than 2. So I'm happy it's not more than 2.
Well, Lelis has not quite. I mean, sometimes he gets a 40-minute Midas, so we'll see how the game goes.
I'm not a fan of Midas Skywrath. Let me tell you, it's not really good value.
Now, once you get that shard, then you get the attack speed from the Midas. Pretty damn powerful, if you ask me, Cinderin.
It's a quite odd ancient farming team.
Yeah, but Gunnar does the important thing and kicks his teammate away so that he can secure most of the farm.
And he has Blade Mail, which he used to farm it with, and he had the Shield Rune. So actually a kind of nice play here from Nouns to identify that they can do it with this hero combination because of Shield Rune. Otherwise, Gunnar would have lost so much health, he might have almost had to.
Radiant are scanning.
Put it to use there. Slowly but surely, K1 is now catching up to the Luna. Now, in this matchup in general, I would say Luna has a relatively tricky matchup against Naga Siren. Despite having all this spread damage with the Glaives, Naga, having a good game can just overwhelm you pretty quickly. But given the circumstances, I think Timado is actually in a pretty good spot here with that 1k lead over the Naga. If both heroes are just left to free farm entirely, I think they probably stay roughly hand in hand in terms of raw farm efficiency.
Ari is spotted. Gonna get silenced and rolled on, and there's the Mystic Flare.
Your spirit leaves your body.
Goodbye.
Gunnar gets credit for that one. As
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Very shortly will be in his inventory. Bryle, speaking of which, will have his defusal on the way now. That's a big power spike from Tango, as he brought up. I mean, the one good thing about, Not to talk about Midas anymore, but still. The levels you get from it are actually extremely good on a hero like Brewmaster. Like that Primal Split just gets insane once you get to level 3.
And Brewmaster, it's also about what you want on this hero is to not only be your ult, right? Like the problem is when you have that natural downtime, it's really nice to have Midas to just for the farm efficiency, right? So not only the experience of getting to the higher levels of ult, but also making
cancel. Doesn't have his actual teleport for the 40 seconds, so that'll be a freebie for Timado, but...
He is more than happy with that, though.
Yeah.
Got the rune. This is well worth dying for 6-5 names.
Indeed. Sonic forcing move back. He does have his Primal Split. Not going to expend it quite yet. I don't think he's going to chase any further anyway, as Radiance looks to be what's in Moo's sights right now. You see the Aghanim's already online for Kasane.
Eyeing up the Bloodstone and the Shard, no surprise.
The one thing that we're going to have to hold your horses on, Sinner, because we might actually have a fight here, is K1 is taking out some Ancients. There's a smoke from TSM, Rolling Thunder from Bryle. They know that K1's in the area, gets silenced, and the Rolling Thunder should be enough with the right click.
Oh, and they stole the stack to Kasane.
Indeed.
Got it with that Bristleback Axe usage, so very nice. Probably going to turn into a mid-tier 1 as well here for TSM. I don't think there's any hope of defending this one, but maybe Gunnar's going to try to roll away. Good choice.
Yep, he's
Radiant's
gone.
middle tower is under
Gunnar,
attack.
they call him.
Radiant structures are
Oh boy.
fortified.
What have we here?
Yamsun getting some nice D-ward action here, but Timado. Vision here.
Radiant's middle
Oh, the
tower
dead shot
has
does
fallen.
hit. He's still running the opposite direction. Lucent Beam is there.
Radiant's middle
Another
tower
kill.
is
Actually
under
uses
attack.
Eclipse.
It's about
Dire's
sending a
top
message.
tower is
He's
under
just
attack.
sick and tired of not hitting that R button. Like,
Yeah,
gotta
well,
do it at some point.
Gunnar is testing the limits here. He does have a Skywrath on backup, so potentially there is a kill here if they line up their spells, but Timado wisely pulling off here to the right. Comes it up and gets up.
But one good thing about having hero like Bristleback is, I know it's only 16 minutes, but it's always on my mind,
Dire's
tournament
middle
time.
tower is
It's
under
a hero that
attack.
can solo it extremely
Radiant's
quickly. You
top
don't need
tower is
to
under attack.
worry about heroes coming in across the map and losing efficiency. As Kasane trying to chase Moo's gonna get dead shot, but still running the opposite direction, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, and Moo has to be a little bit
Radiant's
careful in this
top
game
tower
with
is
his
under
mana
attack.
management, because if you get caught by a swashbuckle at the wrong time, you might not be able to get the split off. So he kind of has to make sure he stays on around at least 300 mana when he's playing around the map.
Airball action from Kasane, so he bought the shard the old-fashioned way. There's the dead shot, canceling the TP, and you can see that Ags being put to
Radiant's
good
top
work
tower
for
is under
Kasane
attack.
as he destroys
Radiant's
Moo,
top
who still
tower
does not
has fallen.
quite have enough for that Sacred Relic.
Uh-oh. That may have been a mistake.
Sometimes you just gotta let the voice lines speak themselves, you know?
Yep.
That's why I immediately said something. All right, here we go, mid.
Oh boy, the Mystic Flare not really going to connect, but they might still have enough damage. Indeed they do. Down goes Bryle, and Gunnar with that haste rune will likely be able to just walk away. Nice pickoff here for Nouns. Some retribution for Moo's death.
Gunnar will be almost 1,000 away from the Reaver here. Heart. This is the hero I'm watching right now for Nouns, because I think there's a lot on Gunnar's shoulders. As we've already established, Naga's game isn't particularly great right now, so...
Oh, you want some of this, though.
Uh,
The calling scares them away.
Bristleback is not the target you want right now. You don't really have that good ways of dealing with him. Brewmaster didn't get the full vessel, he only got the urn. You don't have the healing reduction against the inevitable Bloodstone.
But
And-
I assume he will end up going for Spirit Vessel at some point, right?
After the Radiance? I don't know, actually.
Really?
Because the problem is when you get it that late, even if it might on paper sound good against Bloodstone, the enemy team is going to start having dispels, right? There's going to be some sort of Lotus coming out, even on himself. So,
How important is Silver Edge this one? Hold that thought. Kasane getting gone on.
well,
Going on K1, more like it.
Structures are
He just walks
fortified.
away with a casual and snap.
little tickle war here. Won by
Dire's top
Kasane.
Airball.
tower is under attack.
And he's going to use Song, which I
He
believe is
can't
the first of the...
TP out though, because
only-
Dead Shot could connect on him at any point. He will run away though. Timado will kill Yamsun.
Yamsun does die, but Is this going to be a turnaround? And it looks like it is as Timado gets killed on the bottom of the map. Very unfortunate for TSM, but a huge kill for Nouns.
Very good trade for Nouns there. They get the last hit on Lelis, who as a
Radiant's
result will
middle
almost
tower
or
is under
staff.
attack.
A great item against both Bristleback and the Muerta. You want to help allies get out of the calling as fast as possible. You want to reposition them away from the Bristleback Ags. You can save people from Eclipse. There's a lot of really good value for that. I would actually like to see them get more than one, to be honest, on their team, but doesn't look like it's on the menu for Yamsun right now. He's eyeing up a Glimmer Cape. Obviously, also a solid item here, but I do think a second Force Stack might actually just straight up be better.
Has been killed.
Because Roshan, #1, will go the way of TSM as nobody from Nouns is in sight.
Roshan has fallen
kasane
to
will
the
get the
ground.
Aegis.
Interesting. I actually thought they were going to put this one on Bryle. I feel like
Dire's middle
Bristleback
tower
is
is under attack.
borderline invincible right now. I don't really know if you need to be concerned with him dying, especially when he completes the Bloodstone. I don't really see much risk for kasane the following 5 minutes, but
There it is.
I guess they just have the mindset that if they put the Aegis on, or the Aegis on him, he's completely unkillable and he can just siege towers. The way they'll probably put it to use immediately to go and contest this Tormentor. You talked about it.
Torment time.
It's Torment time for kasane. It's going to take a little bit of time to build it up, obviously, with the Hairball and the
What
full
sort
stacks,
of
but
prize is
we'll
this?
get there. Slowly but steadily.
I think the bigger deal here is that he's stealing it from Nouns, and there he goes. Ari will get a shard, which for a support, maybe not the
Dire's
one you were
bottom
hoping for.
tower is under attack.
Although, yeah, Tree already has his, I believe, so it would have been between
Structures
him
are fortified.
and the Pango, which the Pango one's quite good.
Yeah, I think they would rather have the shard on Muerta is kind of a weird one if you're playing
Radiant's top
support.
tower.
Timado already has his shard, actually.
Yeah.
Man, this man loves his. I mean, this is one of the few people that buys Glacier on Drow, for God's sake.
He's one of the few people playing Drow to begin with.
That's true.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Really hoping for it here today, but that it's going to be the Luna.
Hey,
Gets held on by Gunnar, gets off the Magnetize with that blade. Now there's so much damage. Now you kind of wish you had that Aegis onto the Luna. He's dead.
Dire's
Now,
middle tower.
see the Bristleback inside the calling, but Bryle's going to be chased right now with the Primal split up, but there's the Overgrowth. Nice Dispel coming out from Moo, instantly getting rid of that, and now Whitemon completely surrounded. kasane really low, but again, he has the Aegis, so that's life #1. The roll in with the Mystic Blitz, enough to take out Ari despite using that ult. Not going to help you too much. And can they kill the big bad Bristleback with that Bloodstone? Completely surrounded now. Pops it. Yeah, that's the wrong direction, my friend. A huge team fight win for Nouns as they clean up nicely.
Yeah, like you said, it's just really dangerous to not have the Aegis on the Luna. She's frontlining and hitting the tower. I thought this was what they were going to do with their Bristleback, but I mean, obviously with this build, you're not very
Dire's
fast
top
at taking
tower
towers,
is
so
under attack.
at the end of the day,
I thought when they were
be.
going for Roche, I think Timado had just died and he was bot lane, so I don't think he could have gotten there anyway.
Right, but then I think this push is just ill-advised in general then, right? You don't have a clear save for your Luna. She's exposing herself by hitting the tower. And you've got to keep in mind, you're playing against one of the longest range initiators in all of Dota. The Earth Spirit can just roll at you from any angle. You won't necessarily have vision. You don't have time to react. So they got no value out of their carry whatsoever. They got a very clean engage there with the Brewmaster as well. So just excellent fight from Nouns. Worth about 6,000 gold, that team fight. As TSM were approaching it with a lead. Now things are going to slow down quite a bit. And we saw the thing there as well that the panel was talking about. Well, it's cool that you have this tanky Bristle. What if he just gets Cyclone for 16 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
Mood just took him out of the fight forever while they cleared up the rest of the team.
But it's Torment time again.
Oh, yeah.
Kasane, who's getting it this time? We talked about Luna already having hers. Is it just Pango that's left? I think it's guaranteed at this point.
I think Pango, you're right. You got it.
Wow. 100% chance.
Who do you think is getting the next one?
The other team. That would be funny. If you have your shards all done, it goes to the other team. You're punished. The true Tormentor action. That could be the next buff for
You truly
Torment.
are one of the game devs of all time. that is a great
It's a
idea.
nice little twist, you know. I mean, people are already dying to it anyway. You might as well make it feel even worse.
How
I'm a
is this
fan.
your idea of rubber band mechanics?
Yeah.
You just grieve the winning team. You must be punished for being ahead.
That's right.
All right.
Sonic gonna be going through the twin gate. He's gonna not be spotted, actually. Lelis is there. Level 13 right now. Has his 4 staff with the Philly Stone in tow.
Radiant
Important
are
development, by
scanning.
the way. K1 is now top net worth in the game.
Oh, that is quite the...
Ever so quietly, he has been farming up a storm. 315 CS, minute 23
Radiant's
on that
middle
Naga.
tower is
Heart
under
is
attack.
completed. So Heart Diffusal Manta is starting to look like a really big threat in the fights. Now you're reaching that point of critical mass where Bristleback alone can't really deal with you. And considering these 3 deaths on Timado have really slowed him down, I actually think K1 is arguably just the strongest hero on the map right now on this Naga.
Radiant's
So I'm very
top
curious to
tower
see how
is under
Nouns put this
attack.
to use.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Again,
Radiant's
if
top
I had
tower
to pick
has
a
fallen.
Naga player to have on my team, this is definitely on the short list in the world. So K1 knows very well what to do with that farm. TP top and use it to get more farm. Like I said, excellent Naga player.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Rich
attack.
get richer.
Yep. As Bryle looks like he's going for the Blink Dagger before the Aghanim Scepter.
Big moment for TP. You want to find a big hero. Doesn't look likely though. Maybe they can find Mu. It's probably their best
Dire's bottom
potential
tower
catch
is under
here, as
attack.
Naga is already inside her own base and Earth Spirit is off in the middle of nowhere. That they
Lelis would tank the gank here. Would be nice for Nouns' perspective at least. It looks like that's going to be, at the very least, that's going to happen here. Easy pick off, and you can see Mu just TP away.
That is a great result. Losing
Trade
one
a
support
smoke
there.
for your support.
Yep, smoke for support, and you use the Rolling Thunder, so for the next 80 seconds, the playmaking potential Bryle is very limited, and it offers some additional safety around the map for Nouns as you're farming. I think, once again, Naga in this game is not really under that much pressure as long as Pango doesn't have ult, and obviously the Ags on Bryle is going to be a really big difference when he gets there. Currently eyeing up the Dagger. He's actually going to opt for that over the Axe, which to me is a little bit surprising. Maybe their mindset is that they're struggling to initiate fights on their terms and they kind of have to get this extra reach, but effectively you're delaying one of your key Naga counters by a good 3 or 4 minutes this way.
I think they're having a real hard time locking down Mu before that Primal Split comes out.
Yeah, that is true.
And being able to
Radiant's
blink,
bottom
especially
tower
with
is
the
under
Shard
attack.
online now for Bryle, will allow them to try to set something up, the roll up. Very important to get a couple stuns off in quick succession.
I mean, speaking of this, the Shard on Earth Spirit could actually be really good this game. I don't think Gunnar's going to buy it, but if they somehow get this from a
Radiant's
Tormentor, just being
bottom
able to
tower
grab
is under
allies
attack.
out of this.
Grab ally?
There you go. Yeah, you love that. Being able to
Radiant's
pull
bottom
allies out
tower
of
has fallen.
the Pango combo. Pretty big deal.
Dire's top tower
Very
is
even
under
game,
attack.
which is kind of what we were expecting coming into this. I mean, regardless of how these teams have done thus far at TI, these talked about, they've played each other a million times, so be surprised if this was a 2-0 either way. Of course, it's only game 1.
I mean, with that logic, you could say the previous series that TSM played today, they'd also played Shopify Mill.
That's right.
The second game was not very close.
Was that Shopify? You sure?
All right.
Just check.
I'm not sure what you're going for here.
Me neither, actually. Whitemon opting for a Blink Dagger here relatively shortly. And it looks like the Midases are at 2.5. We're going to count Philly Stone as a half Midas.
Okay.
Side of Nouns. Not committing to the third quite yet, but did say 40-minute Midases are a thing with them, so we have 13 minutes to go. That's the limit, I think.
Amazing what you'll find laying around.
Roche. Number 2, we'll know in about 10 seconds when that will spawn. And that, as usual, is going to be a pretty pivotal one. Feels like the first one's usually just given away in
Radiant
some
are
respects.
scanning.
And the second one is when they start getting contested.
Yeah.
See, Nouns are smoked up. TSM going to the high ground. Timado's going to break the smoke, and Mu, he sees this. Can't really pursue any further, at least not yet. K1 just ignoring everybody and hitting creeps, as he should be.
Gunnar might fancy his chances here if they can get the Brewmaster in from the left, but he is obviously still smoked. We saw Mu break the smoke there. And Gunnar is looking for an angle.
Being
Luna with the night vision, though.
That's true.
See him easily.
I mean, at what point do you want to fight with Naga? Are we at that point yet?
I think you're absolutely capable right now of fighting with the Naga, but the fact of the matter is you have an amazing split push lineup too. You have Nature's Prophet and Naga, so if the enemy team is congregated in one area, you can just bide your time, push the other lanes, and eventually they have to go back and defend, right?
Yeah.
So Yamsun already pushed in bottom lane all the way to that tier 2 tower, and the mid wave is being cut here by K1, and this is going to be really annoying for TSM's lineup to deal with. We actually haven't really talked about this, but their heroes are not particularly mobile with the exception of Pango. Like, running around the map with as Bristleback putting out fires feels terrible.
And Bryle is trying to get the stun lock onto Moo. The Eclipse to follow. Do they have the burst? They do. He does have buyback, though. Obviously not able to get that primal split up, but that is a very big kill for TSM. The BKB already popped by Timado's K1. Going on to the Bristleback, and there's the buyback onto Moo.
Nice connection from Gunnar.
Really deep onto Timado with the calling coming through as well, but Gunnar's going to roll on out for the time being. Looks like Nouns want to kind of reset and wait for their Brewmaster to catch up. The TSM now on the run as Bryle might be caught out. Thunderclap is there, and there's the Mystic Flare to finish him off. Nouns trade essentially a buyback to kill off the mid laner for TSM.
Honestly, really good play call there from Gunnar. Even though the Brewmaster is dead, he identifies that Luna used the BKB in that kill.
Kasane, he's going to get kicked to the low ground. That is a Bristleback, so you have to be careful. Doing a lot of damage with that Quill Spray, but now he's surrounded. Has a Spirit Vessel applied, but he pops his Bloodstone. Now opting to go to the other side of the calling. TSM getting pursued by K1. He is not afraid
Oh, that's not a good push snap. He turned around.
Jump in onto the tree and inside the trees. As you can see, the Pango buying back into the game. It looks like the Treant Protector will die to start this fight. As K1 looking to maybe saw, but actually going to turn this around onto Timado instead. That is a huge kill for Nouns. As K1 with an ensnare onto that Muerta, and that's another easy kill for Nouns as Kasane coming back into the fray. Kind of left all alone, but Bryle has his Rolling Thunder up again, using that Blink Dagger to good effect to keep K1 on the back line, but there's the song to keep the Bristleback in place. And Bryle might just have to Rolling Thunder away as they leave their Bristleback to die. So Kasane drops a huge teamfight win for Nouns, and that means Roche #2 is theirs.
Yeah, it's incredible how important it ends up being that Timado used his BKB on the Brewmaster kill, right? Like, you can understand from his perspective, there's uncertainty about whether Nouns are counterplaying and baiting the Brew there, but he needed that BKB so badly in the fight that followed. He essentially just got jumped on by Gunnar, which was what spread out the fight initially and forced TSM back. And then in the chasing sequence, Timado couldn't stand his ground. That's the problem against the Naga matchup. You're not strong enough when Naga has this amount of net worth to really stand your ground. So if you can't use BKB and hit other heroes, it's just a losing battle. So, really big one here for Nouns. They get a lot of kills. They get the Roche Aegis Cheese here.
Roshan has fallen to
Honestly, yeah, I was thinking put
Okay.
the Aegis on Moo, because you're not likely to get first on the Naga in the same way if you play the hero well and you're splitting the map correctly. Rather put the Aegis on the Brewmaster so he can frontline confidently, and he could give the cheese away. I don't think he needs to have both of them.
Why not have both?
Put the cheese on Gunnar, or even put it on K1. He still has a slot available that he could carry that in if you want. All coming up Nouns now. I know we've seen quite a lot of games this tournament where late game Bristleback has been a menace as well, but I have my doubts as to how effective the hero is actually going to be here truly late game, just because that Brewmaster and Naga matchup is so good at containing him, right? You just keep netting him, songing, throwing him in the air. Bristle doesn't want to buy BKB, so you kind of just, you just control him all the time, kill the other heroes.
Torment time for Nouns as Yamsun gets his.
Okay, a little bit of a curse of the old growth. Vision in the trees, doing some damage. It's nice for chasing sequences if there's going to be some of those in around the top area in particular. A lot of trees in the Roshan area, but
Set in stone.
it's likely to transpire anytime soon, considering they literally fights are probably not breaking out up there, but they might break out next to the top tier 2 tower, which I think should be next on the menu here for Nouns. Wouldn't mind seeing them going for every single tower outside the base right now with the advantage they have. I think fights for TSM are going to be exceptionally difficult to take.
Yeah, with 3.5 minutes on the Aegis, I think that is definitely what they're going to be up to. Now, one thing we've seen in the games we've cast, at least, is the issue of going high ground. I think maybe the best hero in the game at going high ground is Brewmaster. Especially once you get like that refresher and it's just,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Especially when you have Ogre in your team as well, as we saw the other
Oh.
day. Just bloodlusting the earth element, or whatever you want to call it, bruling. Very, very great. Obviously this game not the case, but yeah, Nouns are no strangers to sieging with this hero. And I think, I mean, again, once you're constrained in your base as TSM, it's starting to become really difficult. There's going to be Trance pushing, there's going to be Naga
Dire's
Illusions
top
pushing, there's going to be
tower is under
Brewmaster
attack.
Ultimate pushing. The way you need to organize your heroes to put out fires and effectively try to turn anything into a team fight is going to be very
Dire's
difficult.
top tower has fallen.
Another Tormentor killed here by Kasane, a nice 1400 gold influx for his team, but state of the game definitely is at least 2 waves are going to be outside your base more or less at all
Dire's middle
times.
tower is under attack.
Even a smoke up coming out here from Nouns. They place a ward behind themselves to try to gather any information about movements from TSM if they go where they just left. In the
No,
meantime,
we talked about the high ground potential for
Radiant
Nouns. What
are
about the
scanning.
defensive side from TSM?
I mean, they have some
Special.
they have some decent
Dire's middle
spam.
tower is
Swashbuckle is
under
always
attack.
super annoying to deal with. I'd say the calling is
Radiant's
one of the
middle
really strong
tower is
defensive
under
spells
attack.
as well. But again, given the
Dire's
itemization that
middle
Nouns have with the
tower is
double
under
force staff, they did end up going back for it on Nature's Prophet, which I'm a very big fan of them doing. I think they can just reset out if they get jumped on.
Gunnar finds Ari, gets off his Shivas.
Yeah, he's dead.
A roll in there. We'll get the stun off and a Mystic Flare from a complete screen away. Allows the side.
Yep. Lelis is close to Ags. Haven't really talked much about his itemization, but he went 4-staff Ghost.
Oh wow, he's actually really close. So
Yep.
400 away right now. Only a minute and a half left on the Aegis, and they've only gotten the 1 tier 2 so far.
Actually,
And their lead has kind of gone down since they got that Aegis.
the Skywrath Ags is very good together with Earth Spirit as well as Naga, though. Like, when you have other cores that have reliable lockdown, you're gonna be able to hit 2 heroes a lot of the time here. Right. Be out here from Bryle should be okay.
Good attempt. Yeah, the instant roll up into Rolling Thunder is pretty hard to counteract until, I mean, would you say that it's worth getting an Ags on Naga at some point for that?
Yeah, probably.
Is that like a 7th item Ags or an actual like inventory
I mean,
item?
he's actually eyeing up a BKB before it after his Disperser, but
Kasane.
I don't know. I'd rather see the Ags, to be honest,
Yeah.
than the BKB.
Quite good move. Might have to expend his ult here. He gets 4-step to the other side, dodging the dead shot, so won't actually need to use anything here. Still has that
the
Aegis for 30 seconds.
30, so might as well just expend that instead.
It's still the green panda that gets like auras and stuff, right? Like the gem.
Yeah.
As Moo showing himself.
They're trying to set it up so they can kill him just as Aegis expires, but that's a
It's close now.
tall order.
Has his Octarine core now. I assume Refresher would be next, perhaps, for
Currently,
Mr. Brewmaster.
quick buying up an AC.
Okay.
I don't mind that. It's a ton of physical damage on the enemy team. It's really good for his Naga to have an AC on the team as well, just for overall just pressure. It's good for sieging. I like it more than the Refresher. I don't think this is a game where it comes down to just having 2 back-to-back brew ults, but
Yeah,
rather you just want to be consistent with the one that you have and get major impact, so.
Plus, there'll be a 3rd Roche at some point, which may or may not have that
Yeah.
Refresher shard.
Very true. They did kill the 2nd one bottom, so I think it's not that likely that the 3rd one will be top. The early respawn is in 2:18. So that will be around the end of night time. Early respawns. More than likely the next Roche will be dead before 45.
Gunnar showing himself in the mid lane. Tier
Dire's
2
middle
still
tower
standing,
is
but not
under
for long
attack.
as K1 starting to pound on it. Through backdoor protection for now. Kasane slowed to a crawl. Trying to defend this is Whitemon. Gonna try to help out Bryle. He gets silenced by Gunnar to start things out. With the Manta Styles, Bryle just gonna use his roll up and just TP away with that ult usage.
Dire's middle
So
tower
I
is under
think
attack.
this is why it feels so good for Naga to buy Ags right now, is in this game state, TSM are very clearly communicating their read on the game to the enemy team, essentially. They're shying away from every fight. So having any sort of reliable lockdown that can turn these moments into key kills is how you open high ground.
Dire's courier has been killed.
I don't know if they're like we talked about, just hoping to get a free axe, perhaps, which would then go to Naga. Maybe that's the idea. Because the second row or the third row will be respawning in 1 minute, so they could set it up to get it bottom. Timado will have to TP out here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
BKB down. Does Nouns want to take advantage of that right now, or do they just want to continue to just have control of this map and then kind of suffocate the likes of TSM to Roche's?
Ari.
Thrown into Ari. I mean, Lotus is off the side.
Oh, nice.
Get rolled on by Gunnar. And it looks like that'll spell the end of him, and all likely to see the Aghanim Scepter Mystic Flare being used for the kill.
Dire's
split
middle
used as
tower
well.
is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
Not really catching anybody in the process, so might have to focus on the tower instead.
That was a really nice connection from Gunnar there, just anticipating the Force Staff. So he rolled ahead of Ari. Scored what we call a Joel in one right there. It's very nice.
Good meme.
Memes have grown on you a little bit. You used to be very anti-meme. You've become a little more fun with time. I guess I rubbed off on you. You became a little more fun and I became a little more cynical. So, you know, great trade-off. I made your life better and you made mine worse. Thank you so much.
That's right. It's a good balance.
Yep.
Kasane sticking to the high ground for now. As we can see, this is actually a pretty long Roche timer.
The seeds of fortune.
Would be surprised if Nouns doesn't just wait for that. Still 2 tier 2s up for TSM. They've been doing a good job of they've had the living armor, of course, which makes it a bit of a nuisance to go through. We have a 5-man smoke from TSM. Find anybody. Butterfly online for Timado. He is fully loaded.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Show the Manta illusions, and Gunnar's going to use that as a means to escape. Still smoked up, but not finding any meaningful connection here for TSM. At least they've left their side of the map. It's been a while.
They're getting out on the map. The main thing I'm looking at right now for TSM is actually their support progression, right? We've been talking a decent amount of the itemization on the side of Nouns, but TSM are also slowly approaching some items that could make a big difference. Whitemon almost has a Force Staff on his Treant. On the Muerta, we're actually starting Ari's preparing for this to be a long one, eyeing up a 40-minute Maelstrom.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Midas. I decided there.
Yeah, you were hoping for it, but it seems to be the plan here that this one, they're banking on it going ultra late, essentially, at this point. And well, Treant with a Force Staff can be very helpful at separating heroes from Naga. Getting that distance.
And Disperser is extremely good value this game. The amount of dispels.
Yeah.
Very cool. See Roche up in less than a minute. So it's going to be a bit of a Roche-off situation, as we love to see, as Kasane still has that shield rune at about half.
Radiant's middle tower
half amount right now.
Attack.
Shivas is popped, but not finding a connection again. Bryle looking for the Rolling Thunder potential as Gunnar will be rolling Bouldering away. Both teams knowing how important this next Roche is.
How important it is to keep rolling.
That's right. Keep on rolling. Yep. This one will be the Aghanim Scepter if it's kept on the day.
Gunnar has a really good positioning here, but they actually send their Brewmaster mid. So Muas travels level 2. So again, they're playing into this whole mindset of our lineup is
Gunnar.
really good. Okay.
He's going to have to kick Kasane away.
Oh, he will. And this is how Nouns are going to set up for Roche. They're going to have Mu push mid and use a split probably to force them to come back. And I think TSM, the clock is ticking right now. You kind of have to commit for this Roche now. If you're timid about this, you're going to be forced back. You see Nature's Prophet now connecting mid as well. With these travels to Nature's Prophet teleport, really threatening.
Yeah, Rolling Thunder from Bryle trying to hold off on K1. He's already half HP. Pops his BKB though. Now maybe the focus is on Lelis. A little bit easier of a kill. Pops his Ghost Scepter, but there is the song. Gonna give space for Lelis to get away, but you can see in their base they're actually starting to siege now. Fortifications popped on the side of TSM. Still no primal split used. That's when you have to really work your TSM, but Bryle TPing away already, so that likely means that Nouns will back away, be able to get this Roshan for themselves.
Oh, they want more heroes to come back.
Yeah, they get the tier 3. You can see the primal split already used, and now that racks are exposed.
Why did he instantly cancel it there?
That's true.
Was that a misclick?
I don't know. That might cost him though, as Bryle getting a nice swashbuckle onto Yamsun. Will die inside his own sprout. Oh, will barely get away. Overgrowth. My goodness, that's a close call. Yeah, that.
Wait, how do you misclick that? What's the hotkey for that? I play a lot of Brewmasters, you can tell. Like, so he split and instantly ended it.
The shard allows you to instantly end it, right?
Yeah. It's just, it didn't seem like there was a point to ending it early. All of his Furlings were nice and healthy. Anyway, despite the mistake, they get the outcome they were hoping for. I really like this macro play from Nouns. I think just showing good understanding of the game state here.
Boy.
Forcing TSM to split up. That's the one thing their lineup does very, very poorly.
The Aghanim Scepter online there for Earth Spirit. That's a crazy one too. We'll see how that works out for Gunnar, as he is ridiculously farmed. Top 3 net worth in the game. How would you rate that, Ags?
Quite high.
Sometimes it can screw you, right? But, I mean, we're assuming the good usage here.
I mean, I still think it would be better to give it to Naga. I will stand by that. I'm not sure if there's some sort of key, because usually I would say it's obviously a multi-purpose one. It can be really strong for catching and for saving. I generally think the save is the more reliable way to use this, and it just doesn't feel like you're going to need to save very much, right? Looked at how this game has progressed in the last 15 minutes, so. But it's definitely, like, in terms of just theoretically how good it is, I think it's very high up for me. But it's also difficult.
Remember that used to be part of his base
Dire's
kit?
top tower is under attack.
What?
The primal split from Moo.
Here he comes.
Now that the Earth Panda is there,
He didn't cancel it.
it's right. Yeah, as long as it doesn't cancel it, a lot of damage will be done to this barracks. But I have to say, Timado being there does clean it up relatively fast.
They definitely have good heroes for killing the Bruce Split, and they have living armor, which pretty big deal here, actually.
That's true.
If the strategy from Nouns is going to just be chipping away at buildings for the next 15 minutes, at some point you're going to have to commit unless you can bring it down with just the Bruce Split.
That's with the 1200 Bruling health talent at 20 as well, by the way. He's about to hit 25 now.
Yeah, and he has... Oh, actually, he doesn't have the AC. That's going to be a pretty big help. Getting that armor aura. Almost complete, I do believe.
Yeah.
Actually complete, I do believe.
I do believe you are correct.
And level 25, so...
K1. Get that shot, but we'll be able to walk away as illusions. Just a constant nuisance on the map for TSM. As Kasane, he's starting to run out of room in his inventory. He's actually maybe going for a Radiance, I believe. Whitemon getting gone on by the Brew. Not able to get his ult off quite yet. Continuing to get silenced. There's a lot of damage being applied to Moo. Is this going to be enough to actually take him out? Getting out to the other side and finally gets off his ult. And that is a lift onto the Brewmaster. As you can see, the kick in. Timado in a lot of trouble. Surrounded, pops his BKB. Trying to focus now on the Brewlings. None of them will die quite yet. Uses the Eclipse finally. Most of the focus now onto Yamsun, who actually gets away. And now the Song of Siren from K1, holding everybody in place. Looks like the Train Protection team, the first to fall is Timado. Trying to focus down Moo again, who will somehow live the Sprout, just continuing to be a thorn in the side of TSM, who've already lost 2, including the likes of Bryle. Lots of close praise being applied to the Naga Sirens. Gunnar getting the double kill for now. Rolling onto Timado, lots of damage being applied. He's going to get the lockdown on him and likely will fall as well. A triple kill for Gunnar as K1 doing his thing against the Bristle, just keeping him consistently rooted. I mean, this is a very frustrating game for Kasane. He can't do much because he is the last remaining member of TSM. He's going to get kicked as a stone form. Do they even have the damage at this point to deal with him? We'll see. Might just walk back to base the old-fashioned way. The K1, another kick back. Kasane, I love the buildings being taken by Moo in the meantime. Just keep the Bristleback away from his base. They'll be able to take out all their barracks as a result. Another roll in. Most annoying heroes to deal with if you're a Bristle. Can he get back to his base? They're just ignoring him. He's doing absolutely nothing. Moo has a primal foot available again, and now we'll focus down the second set of racks. Another lift up onto the Bristleback. Can you even play Dota this game? Kasane feels so bad for him. 2 sets of racks now will be secured for the Signs of Nouns. And still, no Luna in sight for 40 seconds. Bristleback is not a hero in this fight, Cinder.
It was really funny to see, you know, the cogs turning in the brain of K1. He's like fighting the Bristle for 20 seconds. He's like, all right, whatever. He just runs away from a 5v1 to start pushing the base.
Bristleback things.
I mean, just Bristleback things. And again, it's really showing why they valued the Brewmaster in this game. I think Moo has had insane impact on this hero. Just effectively negating Kasane. And yeah, he's bought status resistance, which at least helps, but he's out of the fight for about half of it.
I mean, do you have to bite the bullet and go for the BKB at some point?
I just don't think it really matters, because can you get enough done in those 9 seconds?
Probably not.
I don't think so. So it's just strategically a little bit of a checkmate here for Kasane. I don't think there is a good item build to solve this problem. It kind of has to come from his teammates.
Oh, we have the Rolling Thunder. Can they actually lock down move? Actually, it's left, and that's the 25 talent being put to good use. Along with the... Oh, he actually doesn't have Ags yet. Actually, he didn't take the talent. What am I talking about, Synderen? Just ignore me. That was a lot of damage from the Eclipse,
some of the time. Well, if he had taken the 25 talent, it would have been the same amount of damage from the Eclipse.
That's true.
Worth keeping in mind. As a matter of fact, your call about him dealing a lot of damage was more true because he took other talent that actually does get damage.
That's right. He did damage one way or another, which is technically correct, as he liked to attest to being a fan of. Timado forced to defend his base from afar. Can't really leave it. And the bristleback kill was nice, as I think we're going to be able to listen in to a previous fight here.
Invisibility!
Dire are scanning.
All right, that's good. I mean, that's essentially what we said in the commentary as well. They can't kill him, so just ignore him. Just kite him. And that's good to hear that they can have a conversation like that and be so dumbfounded during a match at TI.
They came to the same conclusion that we did with slightly different lingo, but, you know, it was the right idea. Just leave him alone.
Well, the brew kill was good for TSM, but they're going to do a lot more of that because, I mean, Mu has his buyback still.
Looks like they didn't recognize the fact that Mu had a gem, nor did Mu, because he's not sending his courier for it either. So everybody just forgot this exists.
They were just so excited by killing him. I can't blame him for that. And Muerta, TPing, we'll ignore the gem. More important things to do.
Did he actually TP next to it and not pick?
I don't think it was quite in vision, but yeah.
Okay.
Close enough.
Oh, this is effectively working as a ward for Nouns right now. So that's kind of good.
Yeah, true.
And that little bit of vision.
TSM have actually ventured off to...
Oh, he saw it now. He's like, he was looking at his map. He was like, why do we have vision here, guys? Oh, right. They have a gem.
Maybe he just assumed they picked it up.
Gunnar on the hunt.
Yeah, Gunnar wants to find somebody. Muerta popping the ult, getting a nice silence. Onto the Nature's Prop. You can see TSM on the other side of the cliff here, but it's not going to matter for ours. He dies straight up, so that's a 5v4 now. Bristleback. Yep, he's stuck inside a Sprout. We'll just assume for the rest of this fight that he will not be taking any damage and will not be dying as well. Although, Nouns perhaps wanting to actually kill him this time? No. They remember the previous fight. Still a tier 2 in the bot lane. And the gem is still there indeed. Kasane, even a point in talking about this right now. Okay, Yamsun making his presence known. They're actually doing quite a bit of damage this time. Whitemon in the Civic Bryle with the Rolling Thunder coming in as well. And Bristleback is living again. And now the song being used in more defensive measure than anything is Gunnar popping his BKB as well as K1. Bryle. Rolling Thunder has now ended, trying to do as much damage to the Brewlings as he can, but they're still going to survive as Timado trying to TP out. He will be able to get away with a sliver of HP, and guess what? Kasane still very healthy, but no, they finally break him. Must be a Silver Edge on the side of...
Auto died in base to Bloodthorn.
The position 5 Silver Edge is all they needed.
Yeah.
Now they have the answers. And with that, Nouns with a 30k lead and in prime position to take game number 1 as we're 52 minutes in now.
Yeah, they're going to have to burn both core buybacks to not get mega'd here, and they will do that eventually as this bottom wave is coming in about 10 seconds.
Dire's bottom
the
tower
Radiant
is under
lineup.
attack.
Pretty quick at pushing. The Brewmaster ulti will be up in 20. As a matter of fact, they're looking for a little bit of an extra here. Blue as well as Lelis. Pounding the Muerta.
Yeah, that's a buyback onto the Bristle. He dies here.
Dire's bottom tower.
He hasn't really made his way over quite yet as Muerta getting chased now inside the Sprout. So trying to find an angle, and he will. Thunderclap and the beatdown. Sprout does have his Rolling Thunder up now. Trying to go on top of Gunnar, but he can just roll away with such a low cooldown on that spell. And that's a big ult down now for TSM. No. Still has his Rolling Thunder available. They just need their position 5 in the area to right-click Kasane once, and they can kill him. And the Shiva's going to be popped. There's a fortification, likely the last one for TSM, as Timado up in 7 seconds.
Dire's bottom tower is
Gunnar?
under attack.
Gonna yeah, just kick into the other side, focus on the buildings. Likely will be able to secure themselves mega creeps now in this game number 1, and they will do just that.
The Radiant
As Kasane can only look on. He doesn't even get a kill on the Storm Panda.
All right.
Back to defending they go.
So here's the thing. You've got Megas, but the enemy team is really good at defending Megas. So this game is not over yet. It's obviously extremely Nouns favored, and it would take quite the catastrophe for them to lose the game. But the question is, how long is it going to take them to win? Because sieging into this, as we talked about, it's not that easy. You can send Naga Illusions, you can send Bruise Split, you can send whatever you want, but if the Bristle and Luna get to stand their ground and just hit stuff, they can overpower it relatively quickly.
Well, if they give the Aghanim Scepter here to Mr. Moo, then you'll have that Earth Panda all the time.
True.
That's pretty good.
A nice little companion, but, well, when it dies, he doesn't have it all.
That's true. And it will likely die.
Roshan
We
has
have a smoke now from
fallen to the
TSM, but they're too late for the Roche, as Gunnar will take the Aegis, Moo with the Cheese, and the Aghanim Scepter as well. Now they have to worry about either a Storm Panda or whatever Panda he chooses to use at all times to be up.
All right, so they chose to give the Ags over to Brew over Naga, so again.
K1 was all alone for a little bit there. Pops his BKB as Gunnar.
Oh, they kick out the Luna.
Really deep. The kick out onto Timado. Pops the BKB. Mystic Flare doing a little damage to that BKB, but Gunnar and company are going to turn him to stone again. Still at half HP though, as Gunnar trying to get to the other side of these trees. The Sprout onto the Bristleback as Moo gonna try to go on top of the buildings now instead. Now they have the break on the Kasane, but there's the overgrowth from Whitemon keeping him in place. But the Cheese actually healing up the Earth Spirit to a high degree as Moo continuing just to hit buildings while the Song of the Siren keeps TSM in place. Trying to heal it up with the living armor. There's the Mystic Flare again being used. And guess who's still healthy? It's the Bristleback. Gunnar now rolling out to the other side, getting slowed perpetually. That shot's going to connect as well, but looks like he might be able to walk away. As somehow no deaths in this engagement, other than one tier 4 tower.
And we have to say goodbye to one Cheese. But fortunately, Gunnar has second Cheese. Oh. I would have loved to see him stack up a third. I feel like that's a true rare spawn in Dota. I don't think we often see 3 Cheeses on the same hero, but actually did end up using one of them there. So very sad
Oh,
for all the fermenting fans out there. Considering you can make block of cheese out of the... How many Lotus? Oh, there's a lot of Lotus. Shocker.
Yeah, why bother though?
What if you could combine 3 cheeses into a giga cheese?
And what does that do for you?
It's just a very big cheese.
The visual only, I see. Cosmetic. Sounds good to me. What if the cheese is so big it just turns you lactose intolerant? And that's an aura around you.
So that's another comeback mechanic for the losing
Yeah,
team.
it's a bad thing for you. That's correct.
You have the best ideas.
They're hoarding too much net worth on their side, so it should punish them. Nobody wants to see that. It's 50k lead for Nouns.
Is that the biggest of this event?
Timado. Is he going to turn into stone again? Gunnar looking for the potential connection here. He's going to get some stop his BKB. Rolling Thunder not going to be doing too much as a result. Magnetize is there. Remember, this is undispellable now with that 25 talent. His move continuing onto the tier 4 towers. There's the Mystic Flare. So much into the side to Timado trying to stay alive. A nice overgrowth. This is enough to take out the Earth Spirit. Either way, he has the Aegis. Life number 1 down. Moo now focusing all his efforts onto that Luna. Will drop him, but that is just... that's actually the buyback now. As the Ancient is fully exposed, they can just right-click that to their heart's content, as GG's will likely come out here any moment. Timado getting extremely low. It's going to be a dieback for him. And they can't hold this any longer for TSM, so Nouns will take game number 1 in this best of 3, Cinderin.
Yep.
And what a display it was. Eventually, they will hit that, and the game will end, and there we go.